Oh, hello and welcome back, all you wonderful, wonderful people out there in Dota 2 world. We're here in Group D action. If all you fine folks have been checking out all the other streams, you might have missed some wonderful games that we had a little bit earlier, but now another great one sure to come up as paiN Gaming are facing off against Team Liquid. Best of three, game number three. Andy, how you feel, my man?
I'm ready to watch game number 3 of the Rochambeau because that's basically what these games have been. It was just two stomps back to back. First game paiN stomped, second game Liquid stomped. This time around, I'm hoping for more of an even matchup. It always feels to me that one team falls a little bit behind, and then their draft is set in a way where they just can't play the game anymore. It's like
Yeah.
their lineup just like turns off, and they're like, oh, well, now we have no like catch, or we don't have enough damage, or we need another item, or something like that happens, and then the map just becomes completely unplayable for them, and then they just lose. So hopefully we have a little bit more of a back and forth here. I think for paiN in the last match, it was more about like Mandy had a really bad game. Like he did that dive on
Yeah.
bottom tier one, he got Song into Stormed, and then every other play he made like around the map didn't seem to result in much of anything.
Hmm.
And he was the guy who was supposed to be making a lot of these fights start off, and then the rest of the team could push their buttons once the engagement had kicked off. But it's not. I don't know. Something went wrong. Like communication wasn't
10
there,
seconds
or
remaining.
something, and the game plan just completely just evaporated. And then
5
it was just
seconds
Liquid
remaining.
controlling the map and choking them out over the course of like what, a 40 something minute game.
Yeah, and it felt very like even the moments where we had talked about it, where there was like a good thing that happened, a great team fight. We saw a ton of big ultis coming out from paiN Gaming afterwards. They didn't have any way to like turn that into an objective,
Team
and
Liquid
that's always
wins
going to
the
be the problem when you
event.
take those fights on the other side of the map. I will say that I felt to me, and please correct me if you feel like I'm wrong on this. Game one felt like it was relatively even draft, and like paiN kind of outthunk them with the tri lane that they ran, really shutting down the farm, and then after that, Slark just could do whatever the hell he wanted. Game number two to me felt like Liquid really outdrafted them. So
10
I think
seconds
if I'm
remaining.
going into this game and it looks even, I'm gonna be favoring paiN. They look really
5
strong right
seconds
now.
remaining.
With a couple of moments in that last game being purged out of my brain. We just won't think about those.
Yeah, that's good. That's for the sake of everyone involved. Let's not think about those. I think that it was
Radiant
possible for
team
Liquid to put
battle.
better lanes together in the
Slug.
first match.
Right.
And I do think on paper that their draft probably should have functioned a bit better than it did. But I'm not sure if their tri lane would have been as strong. Like they would have had what? Lina, Wisp, and then Morphling
Yes.
against the Slark, the Shaker. What was their third hero?
Uh
10 seconds
Slark,
remaining.
Shaker,
Team
and
Liquid radiant
I
I
can't think
don't
of
together.
the
know.
other
It's all
support off the
blending
top of my
together
head.
now.
Yeah, it's been a lot of games. It's been a lot of games. But I think it would have been better. Like, absolutely, it would have been better. I don't know if it would have won in the game, but it would have at least given them a chance. But I kind of see like what you're saying, like in line with the whole. It wasn't really the draft; it was the lanes, and that can happen a lot.
Team
Right.
It's
Liquid
just that
turn
there
to
hasn't
ban.
been a whole lot of deviation from the 2-1-2 for a while because
No.
your side lanes. If you win both your side lanes, you get both outposts at 10 minutes. You're living life. You're feeling real good taking that outpost away from the enemy. And we've actually seen that happen today too. I think it was the EG series where one of the teams got both outposts at 10. They just pretty much won the game. But yeah, it's weird to see a tri
Seconds
lane. You don't
remaining.
see that very often. It probably just caught Liquid off guard.
Right.
I'm not sure if we're going to
5
see two
seconds
tri lanes in the
remaining.
same series, but I suppose anything is possible.
Definitely. Well, and I looked it up. It was Lich that was the last hero that was in that tri lane from
Okay.
paiN. And against the Sand King Lina, this lane that's normally supposed to be really strong, not gonna be able to have that opportunity. Liquid now taking the Doom and the Earthshaker. We saw that get played earlier this series by paiN as they run back with the Slark and the Lich. We'll mention that Lich, another one of those that's going to
Team
be the
Liquid's
most played
turn to
after
pick.
today, unless
Radiant
Rubik
team
gets
picked.
picked. The difference is that Rubik right now has an 18% win rate. Dude has been struggle bucket. But now the AA. I like this hero a lot. I feel like he's super strong.
It's good against Slark. It's kind of like a direct counter to your regenerative
Team
capabilities. I don't know why that was
Liquid's
so hard for me to
turn
say.
to pick.
Um, but yeah, you shoot the ice cream at him, and then he gets sad. It's really nice on paper. against the Slark. Clockwork. It seems like both these teams are just picking heroes that are good against the other hero. Like as soon as
Right.
they see a pick, they're like, "Ooh, this guy's good against that guy. Oh, that guy's good against this guy." And it can work to a degree. I would say Liquid's lineup it has like some anti synergy. Like you have an Earthshaker plus Void. I personally do not like these two heroes together that much because you want to throw a Fissure, and a Fissure can own your Void as much as it
10
can help him.
seconds
Mm.
remaining.
And sometimes you're just going to be forced into a situation where you have to use a spell, and it might
5
just
seconds
completely
remaining.
kill one of your core heroes. But the Clockwork is great. Clockwork is good against all three of the openers from Liquid. It's good against Shaker because your animations are too long to be able to cast any spells when battery's on. AA just dies to a hook shot. Doom, you put him in cogs, and his base attack time is so bad that sometimes he can't even hit the cog.
Yeah.
And then you set up for your other teammates' spells. So I am liking what paiN's doing a little bit more. I also think it goes in line with what their team is really good at, and individually what their players excel at is just being able to play
Team
quickly
Liquid's
and
turn to pick
recognize like
Templar
when we
Assassin.
saw the first game how big of a stomp it actually was. Like as soon as they knew they had an advantage, they took everything.
Yeah.
They just completely shut down the map. And I like that when you have heroes like Clockwork and Slark who make really good use of vision. I mean, Slark is his own walking D ward if he wants to be.
Mm.
And
10
now paiN
seconds
going with
remaining.
the TA. They don't have 10th pick, so there is possibility for
5
Liquid to do like a
seconds
hard counter
remaining.
here. I'm expecting paiN to either ban out like let's see. Are you really scared of Viper if you're paiN though? I mean, it's a bad lane for the TA, but I
Right.
don't know if Viper necessarily scares you as your lineup as a whole. There's also like the Razors. What else?
Maybe with the
Ogres.
AA to like amp up the damage, Viper
Radiant
becomes more
team ban.
scary. But yeah, I agree. It's not the one that really sticks out to me right now.
Yeah, like I'm thinking Viper is a great lane matchup, but is it really good as a team hero?
Yeah.
Because Clockwork is going to build either a Blade Mail or a mobility item, both of which are good against you. Slark, Viper is okay against, but if the fights turn into these really long, like drawn out, annoying,
10
like back and
seconds
forth
remaining.
fights, the Slark's going to be okay with that. Let's
5
see what
seconds
else.
remaining.
I mean, one other thing to mention is this Clockwork, only other
Radiant
picked by
team
one other
pick.
team so far at this event. It was Beast Coast that just knocked down Chaos, and it was Schofield that was playing it there. So sort of a region specific thing. And H Apparition also the first time getting picked so far in the tournament. We've already had 71 different heroes picked at Dream League, so kind of crazy after just day one.
Yeah, this patch I would say is pretty open in regards to heroes, minus maybe the
10
mid lane.
seconds remaining.
There's just some heroes that because of the nature of when you
5
pick them,
seconds remaining.
like you get your 21st, 22nd picks.
Right.
Some mids just can't play the game against other mids. So like Viper into TA for example is one that we just spoke about. It's a really bad lane for TA to a point where if you make even one mistake, you just have to like jungle basically.
Mm.
But yeah, that's pretty much just mid. The side lanes are kind of just pick heroes that are going to be able to do well. Try to secure at least one outpost at 10, and then whatever your game plan is past that point. But yeah, I'm happy to see that there's a good amount of variety. Is this also the first Void we've seen, by the way?
It might have been actually. That would push us over to 72. I'll have to do a quick little search in a sec. But it's the type of game where it feels pretty good. Like I always feel like AA Void is kind of like an underrated combo. It always feels like it should just be like crazy strong, but it doesn't always end up getting picked. No, we've had one other Void and a one.
Okay. Okay, so one other Void game. Yeah, the AA Void is a classic. Just put the bubble inside the other bubble. Very cool stuff. And then the laning phase for AA is slightly better than it used to be. Like
Yeah.
way back before they made it so like Ice Vortex gave you movement speed and all this other stuff. The hero was just a liability. You would just feed. Like the laning phase was just you dying a bunch, and there were some hero combinations with the old Chilling Touch where you could just blow people up. Like you think of the Meepos and stuff where they each got a
Oh, right.
charge of that like extra damage and stuff.
Team Liquid's
And
turn
Ursa
to
was
pick.
another one that you saw a lot. Ooh,
Choose your hero.
okay. Okay, they are just gonna go straight Viper. Allegedly, the axe pick makes Viper better because you can just put Nether Toxin on the ground, and if the axe blinks on you, he can't spin.
Yeah.
Um, it also disables Slark passives, so if you're standing inside of that cloud, you don't get any Essence Shift stacks. It breaks side blades. Like it's a really good Viper game overall. My concern is that the pace of the game will not feel that good for the Viper, and he's going to need a lot of protection.
Right.
Because if heroes get on top of you, Viper does not have a lot of armor. So as good as you are against heroes like TA, if you get like hit by a meld, you don't really even build into armor. Most Viper players, what they'll do is they'll go treads, double wraith, maelstrom. That's kind of like their thing. And then they'll either go back into Pike or they'll buy a BKB or whatever. And that build just is not tanky at all towards physical damage.
And when you've got the TA there on top of you, as well as Slark maybe pounding in a little bit, particularly if you've got like some heavy lockdown before he's able to get another toxin out, he's just going to be food. But they do have a lot of good answers. I think Void is, a little bit underrated. We'll see what they do. Are they going to be able to make moves around the map? That's something that's been a little bit of an issue, it feels like, for Liquid. Even in the last game they won, it didn't feel like they won it by virtue of like making ganks happen. It felt like it was more just them out farming and then out maneuvering paiN and occasionally finding those kills with glimpses. And you saw immediately gets banned out. First phase Disruptor, no longer there. Game number 3 all comes down to this. All of the other groups have finished, so I believe this is the last game of the day. And it starts in inaugural fashion with the pause. You love to see it.
It's the classic, Longest series of the day. Well, actually, I don't know if it was the longest, but both of our series have gone the distance. Not that I'm complaining, but we've been here for a hot minute. And I was actually going to mention, I was wondering if Liquid might consider doing a sort of a pseudo tri-lane themselves, because they do have a shaker. And it is Lich Slark, I suppose, in the safe lane, which is a little bit more kill potential than we saw in the first game, where the Doom was able to just basically get free farm because it was IO Morphling, like the no stun lane. But I'm looking at this lane from paiN, and honestly, they can do a lot. Like, an AA is not going to be able to stop the Axe from cutting on his own. Mm-hmm. And if Mickey is just stuck onto the tower, like CSing, then the AA could just feed. It's a little bit worrisome, I think, for that lane. Let's see. Elsewhere, you have to expect that the Viper is going to do fine against the TA. And then bot leaves the double melee against a Slark and a Lich. Yeah, I don't know. I actually kind of favor 2 of paiN's lanes. And even though their mid is probably going to be rough, TA is the type of hero that is okay farming jungle for a little while.
Well, and it feels like if you just, stack up those camps a little bit, if you're winning one of the other lanes, then you should be in a fine position. We did see both of those heroes spot each other out placing the wards, which should get some pretty early D-ward action coming in. We'll see if TA takes that one for herself once the bounty rune spawn comes up. But early on here, Mickey forced to use the time walk away, and this might secure paiN 2 runes up top. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, they're trying to go for the double secure. Having the clockwork up here means that if anyone gets even a little out of position, like the AA, for example, because he's not really that fast, he's just going to be able to get the kill with battery assault and whatnot. One frost blast too should secure it.
He's going to be hucking out those snowballs whenever possible. Mickey, he's got to be careful. Does have that time walk, like we said. But no, actually not going to go in for this one to try and press his luck. So just a trade off there, 2 apiece. Brief ceasefire, granted.
All right, so let's see how the lanes shape up. It could be try versus try, actually. Both teams seeming to not want to leave any heroes up here. Or I guess leave too few heroes up here would be a better way of saying it. This is, I don't know, it's going to be interesting. It leaves a Doom solo versus a Slark. I think, oh no, they did TP, never mind. Okay, forget that. The Lich TP'd. He's like, nope, we're not going to do this this aggro lane. We're just going to leave things as they are. King RD should not have too many problems. Even if he does die or whatever, it's more important to like get the wave going in your favor, get like the double wave and stuff. And his clockwork is not with him. So this is a little concerning for him. A lot of the time you need your support to follow you, because if he doesn't, then you end up with a situation like this where both people are just running you down, and like eventually you're going to get too low and you're going to be forced to try to TP or, whatever. But obviously Taiga has Fissure.
Right.
So this is most likely going to result in him being dead, and then him trying to get the EXP from these waves after it respawns.
Well, Fissure already used, and is going to go to...
Nah, it is actually bad to die with neutrals there, I think. Is it bad? Might actually have been better.
Because it's going to be a while.
It does add to your respawn time, but the thing is, the creeps aren't there anyway, right? Like, between the tier 1 1 in the tier 2, so it's not like you're losing EXP. And then Mickey with his own double wave trying to counter we call it the tsunami, where you basically just gather up a million creeps and have them run at each other.
That's especially good for King RD. Just starts spinning like crazy.
Yeah.
Although he's going to take a lot of damage from this one with AA nearby punching him constantly.
Well, the Clockwork's actually here this time, so
Okay.
he wants to like pull the creeps to him and off of the other wave so he can kill him with spin. Oh, that's bad. He's gotta get out of here.
Uh-oh. All right. Trading more
If
hits.
he dies again, it's really bad.
He needs at least 40 seconds. Yeah, it solves up and he should be okay now. And that creep wave will push back towards him. Managed to break through that self. King RD drawn aggro yet again. A very back and forth lane. At least for the potential aggression. As he draws another wave over to him. And it looks like Taiga moves into position, able to interrupt the fissure block off they wanted to go for. Still able to get it, but not the full block off there. And in the meantime, a whole wave is hitting into their tier 1 tower, and King RD's walking away for now. Looking like he might end up going down nonetheless. Tango gets the movement speed, but will fall eventually.
All right, so now it's going to be a matter of what happens to the wave. Okay, so the Clockwork's pulling it back, and he should be able to get the majority of the XP from this. I don't know if he wants to go between the towers. Okay. I guess he just wants the axe to run into it and spin it down, because the wave's not going to spawn for another couple seconds. But yeah, this isn't really about how many times the axe dies. It's more about what happens to the waves. Because if the waves get denied, then it's super bad for him.
Okay. Yeah, and then the Clockwork can just play interrupt here. And actually, looks like he's going to be able to punish and punch down Insania. Trying to draw some of that aggro cold feet. He ends up getting stunned. Does have the Cogs pushback, but it's only going to be to run away now. He needs to get out before Mickey is able to chase him down and find a lucky bash. Takes the good angle, but the fissure block off comes in. And that's going to be enough to stop it.
Yeah, so they're committing basically the full tri-lane. They're leaving Boxy down here by himself, and we saw last time what happens when HFN gets a free Slark game.
Yeah.
I mean, this time around they do have a Doom and they do have a Chrono, so it's a lot, I suppose, less scary. And it looks like the Clockwork's just going to abandon the lane. King RD is 2 points in the Helix now, so he'll be able to jungle a little bit, but they already have a offensive ward here from Liquid, so Insania is not going to let him see creeps. Boxy ends up dying.
They brought in that clock like you were saying, and HFN now going to get salved up. They kill off the
RD's dead
Doom
again.
damage. Uh-oh.
Haste rune on Taiga here.
Deuces.
Oh,
Wait,
that
what?
was not the salve, dude. Don't do that.
What?
Oh no.
Wait, maybe?
Okay, that one worked. He
Oh,
canceled
King
the salve,
RD! Oh my god, King RD! You G! And then gives him the tip afterwards.
though. He had a quilling blade. Just cut the tree.
Oh no.
That was an oof and a half. I'm sorry. That one was pretty inexcusable. That should have been a dead axe.
Jesus. All right, well, time for the stack ups. We'll see if they're going to be able to get the thing. He eventually
I guess he,
they come
he
back
dies
in.
anyway. I guess he cut one of the trees.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Dubious.
Radiant's middle tower.
He definitely canceled his auto on the way out because I think he thought he was gonna get it and then like stopped it.
Dude, and Mandy, meanwhile, is just getting harassed back here. They have a fissure to block him off, although doesn't quite get the full block off there. Meanwhile, Doom goes down bottom lane.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot happening here.
What the hell is happening in this game? It's like every game has been boring as crap through the first like 20 minutes, and now you got people running all over the place. Hasterun's getting got. It's crazy.
I mean, whenever there's an axe in the game, you can expect it to be interesting at the very least. Because this hero, the way that he has to play the lanes, like he wants to be behind your tower, he wants to be cutting, he wants to be like pulling your wave into the neutrals and stuff, because that's the most efficient form of farm that he can get.
Right.
If he can play that game, he wants to play it, and because of that, there's just a lot of Benny Hill stuff that happens.
Like
the
this.
supports are both following him around. They don't want him to have a game. A farmed axe is a huge problem for Liquid's type of lineup because it forces you to use spells in ways that you don't want to use them, right?
Yeah.
Like if you get forced to defensively chrono, it's really bad. If you get forced to doom someone other than the Slark or the TA, it's really bad. And the axe can be the hero that forces that type of reaction, but only if he has a lane. And right now, King RD's on the struggle bus.
Uh-oh. Mandy gets got on in the mid lane. 444 just looks on. Not able to do a whole heck of a lot besides try and get a pushback. Insania takes some damage, but we'll be able to back out. And there's a regen rune up top if things get really testy. I feel like the CS isn't the full story here. So just looking at net worth at this early stage of the game, TA's going down in terms of net worth, but it's not too terrible, really.
Yeah, you just hit the jungle creeps. That's the thing about TA. Like, it's similar to Magnus, maybe not to the same degree, as in Mag can farm a lot more efficiently because he has a built-in stout shield and stuff and doesn't have to kite the camps as much. Plus, you know, insane cleave.
What is
But TA, similar. Okay,
Look at this.
Oh my god, he's sentenced him to death. He literally just, his head was in the guillotine and he just pulled the freaking thing down and just chopped it. Oh, you hate to see that.
And he's like, all for my carry. Mick A gets the kill, and now looking for Dunhas to see if he can find that finish. They're still chasing. It's only 7.5 minutes in, and we've had 10 kills early on. 1,000 gold lead for Liquid. I don't know how to figure out what's happening in this one, though. It just feels like people are running around from place to place to place, going crazy.
Yeah, it's a very chaotic game for sure. I think it still is slightly favoring Liquid.
Okay.
Just because, like, their heroes, like, hard countered the 1 and 2 positions of paiN Gaming, right? They went for a smoke here. Gonna get the haste.
Run back in. Body block, maybe. Slow down. Fissure trying to interrupt, but they got the cogs caught onto Quakeva. Can they kill him off, though? Looks like they're going to sacrifice the life of their Clockwork, but they get the kill on Mandy. And again, all space bot. Oh, yeah, excuse me.
Oh, you meant he got the kill.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay,
That's
sorry. That was my misinterpreting the situation.
Well, that only happens because I can't speak properly.
Hey, look, you've had a long day, all right? I'm not blaming you for this
That's
one.
fair. Dude, and now they're just taking over the jungle now. Meanwhile, you've just got this Slark. Mr. Slarky Malarkey continues to stay really strong in this lane because Boxy doesn't have Doom yet.
Yeah, Slark versus any melee is always, like, there's very few situations where the Slark's not going to be favored. Especially past the point where he's level 6, where he can just heal up with Shadow Dance every time you take a trade. And Boxy's just dead.
Oh, man. They bring him in. HFN takes him down. We've seen, as you mentioned earlier, what you can do. This player on this hero. Still haven't gotten the first round of outposts so far in this game. Looks like it was double Stout Shield picked up. The TA got one, and now also the Faceless Void going to be able to get one, or rather poor man's shield.
Man, they really, like, gutted this item. It's a shell of what it used to be. I mean, before it was basically physical damage, like auto attack immunity, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's got that freaking cooldown.
Yeah, not nearly as effective as it used to be. But still one of the earlier items to get. I think it's... I'm a little surprised they stuck it on the TA instead of handing it over to HFN. I guess he hasn't really been to that side of the map at all.
Honestly, as weird as it sounds, I think he might use the item better.
Really?
Like, if you think about it, really all you care about now on the PMS is that it gives you agi, right? And the damage and attack speed is farm speed, and because you have side blades, you have a natural farm accelerant, so damage and attack speed scale better on you than it does in Slark. At least that's how I see it. Like, and this might just be my own bias, being someone who plays, you know, mid and likes TA. But if I have an item that gives me damage and attack speed, and I'm just farming, I want to keep that item.
Your safe lane isn't getting it. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, that guy, that's not this. That hasn't been the safe lane for years, okay? That's the danger lane.
That's fair. Well, Blink early coming out for the TA. Mandy wanting to get aggro, looks like. And that is one sort of downside to the Liquid lineup, is they actually just going to pop the Chrono. See if they can take down King RD. Does eventually get killed off. Quick and easy blow up. And you gotta start to be a little bit concerned about Ancient Apparitions level 6 now.
I thought you were gonna say we need to be concerned about King RD's game, because he's having a rough one right now. He's died 5 times. I mean, it really isn't about how much you die in this hero, but there is an upper limit.
Okay.
Radiant's top tower is under
I mean, he's level 7. He's got 700 gold towards the blink. It is nice to have the brooch and the windlace. You actually run quite fast
Hmm.
with both these items, but it is just so hard to get in without blink. Like he needs, like 3 or 4 minutes of uncontested farm if he wants to have a place in this game.
And that's not really the pace with which they're trying to play, it feels like. Constantly under pressure.
He keeps walking the lane, and yeah, that time he ate a chrono, so it's fine if the enemy team is going to expend resources on you to get the kill to delay your blink or whatever.
Right.
But if he dies again, like after a chrono without them having to use anything, then it's really bad for him.
I mean, the Earthshaker's actually closer to his blink. 1,700 gold on Taika right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's only got Tranquils. King RD bought a bunch of stuff. He went like the full wand, the lace, extra ring of protection.
Right. So what are we looking for out of HFN this game? He felt like he was sort of the be-all, end-all in game number 1. As you mentioned, they have answers for him this time around, it feels like. Does he go back for that drums? Does he need to just like rush a BKB? What are your thoughts after this defusal?
I would prefer any item that lets him play fast. So like if he feels comfortable with the drums or if he wants to go Aghanims, bot lane 2, they're going to find Boxy here.
Nice. Yeah, the good little chase down there. On the other side, mentioned they take down the Earthshaker. Mandy finding that kill, and that was, again, sending him back to 1,700 towards the blink.
But yeah, I would prefer maybe Aghanims, just because if you get chronoed, BKB is not going to save you. Linken's isn't going to save you. Like you're pretty much just going to eat all those spells and die. And again, no saves.
Right.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Paul a little bit off the mark there as they tried to go for it. Mandy getting a little bit out of position, and he's going to eat an ulti from that one, both from the AA as well as from Quakeva, and now they're also going to lose the clockwork. So they just kind of walk in, didn't see how that one started, but just feeling themselves a little bit too much, and they get punished.
Yeah, I thought he would just turn around and hit him, because he got attacked like 4 times before he realized that there was a sentry. Like he was pinging it at the end. But in those types of situations, since you know you're dead anyway, it's usually better to just turn and try to get damage out onto the Viper. Because again, low armor hero. Not the tankiest. I guess he does have the Doom armor, the ice armor creep.
Ooh, they missed the dunk up top. That would have been a kill. He needed a bit more damage and couldn't get it.
Is there shrine up on Liquid? No, it's not. Okay. I was gonna say they have Chrono. If their shrine's up, they probably could have just walked right back in and fought this, but without any mana, I don't think Mika is gonna feel too keen on walking up here. And yeah, it looks like HFN is going back for the drums, so it's just a really nice Slark item. It gives you attack speed, gives you stats. The use effect allows you to close the distance without necessarily having to commit a pounce. Echo on the mid lane.
Behind him, another round of a bunch of ultis leveled out against poor old Mandy. He has just taken the brunt of it, and they will lose the Earthshaker here. But he got his Blink Dagger already. And that was the reveal on top of the TA.
Yeah, this is, I mean, he's not actually doing that bad. There are obviously heroes on the side of Liquid that are very good against TA, but he's still level 13. He's still maintaining a decent amount of net worth. He's actually higher net worth than the Viper. So it's not like the Viper pick has really shut down his game that much. It's more just he's been receiving a lot of ultimates in the face.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, they find Boxy again, but not going to chase for him. 4 heroes down here bottom for paiN. Looked like they maybe want to get something done, but sort of hard to do that once a bunch of people show up. But it is going to be the Aquila picked up for Slark, now level 12. And thinking that maybe there was a Roche attempt going on, but Andy is not that rich yet. Still getting the second Mithril Hammer before he gets his Deso done.
Well, he does have Blink already, so I'd say his farm is quite okay.
Right.
If you don't have both of these items by 20 minutes, I'd say your game's going horribly. Like that's just like a general timing thing, right? Okay, here's a Chrono. More R buttons. God. Here they come.
They just
get
keep
the
chasing
let's get it.
Oh my god. This has got to feel terrible. You just drop all of your ultis on him over and over and over.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
God.
But I mean, that's kind of what their lineup does, right?
Oh.
You either get
follow-up kill. All right. They managed to get him. And, well, they lose
my
work.
He's the Bachelor.
With the chase down now And Boxy, gonna drop now to HFN as well. So they pull everybody up to the top and then able to secure the kill onto mid. HFN does need to pounce away. And again, it just feels like sort of chaotic running all across the map.
Yeah, it's just whenever an ultimate's available on the side of Liquid, they want to go for a fight, you know? Because the Ice Blast cooldown's not that long. It's only 40 seconds. So anytime an Echo is up or a Chrono is up or, you know, Doom or Viper Strike, all these abilities actually help set up your ultimate. So anytime one of those R buttons is available, it's getting thrown at a core. And that's just kind of what you have to expect right now for paiN.
Mandy looking to try and sneak a Roche there with the double meld. Chase down coming. Mickey in some trouble. Out of mana. Ice Blast going connect, but is it going to do enough? Mickey.
Oh,
what?
He missed the dunk.
Are you kidding me? That's number 2. Should be dead twice over.
God, that was so close.
Oh, and now scary times. Scary times abound. They get the Cogs push back. Taiga trying to chase HFN. Mandy, they're kind of wrapping around on him a little bit here. Need to be careful about their opening, but King RD just used his blink. Can they take this fight? They've already used their ultimates on Liquid. It's a little bit scary, but I don't know if paiN can really make anything happen. Yeah, they're just going to back out afterwards and leave the Lich to die.
Dude, I would be so sad right there. Like, I mean, level 1 Cull threshold is pretty low. It's 250 life, and it looked like it was right on that line, you know.
Yeah,
In
totally.
the moment, you're like, okay, if he sticks, he's gonna get away, so we have to go for it. Okay, Insanity is dead here. Little blink meld action, but they're gonna lose the TA for this. So you know what? Come at me, bro. Just cast all of those R buttons on me.
Dude, how are you gonna be this mean to Mandy? Everybody's casted their ultimate on him over and over, and then you give him the tip? The hell?
I mean, to be fair, that was a greedy kill.
Yeah, that's true.
He's on top of the enemy team shrine, killing a 5 position. Alright, Mickey is going to be trading his life for that one, so that's fine.
They get him that time. Mandy's like, well
Right.
played. Avenge me.
KRD's got a game now, boys. 700 gold streak.
Radiant's middle tower
He's
is
now
under
higher net
attack.
worth in the Doom because of that kill.
That's nuts.
Yeah, once he gets the Blade Mail, it's going to be quite strong. Not a lot of heroes, besides the Void, really want to build BKB that early. I suppose the Doom is going to make one too, just because of like Chain Frost and Clockwork and stuff. Kind of weird.
Uh-oh. Suddenly we got a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Koikva in some trouble and gonna drop their mid lane. It's the strength of that initiation.
Radiant's top
Bunch of
tower
blinks
is under
and a hook
attack.
shot. Easy peasy.
Dire's structures are fortified.
It's just weird that they tip Mandy for dying, and then they lose their 1 and 2 positions back to back. And now they're, you know,
Ooh.
HFN just gets solo echoed in the bot lane, yeah. Blink
All right.
Echo into the A blast on the wave.
And I guess that's what you're talking about. That you don't really have a great answer for that as Slark in this game. Like, what do you build to stop that?
Yeah, it's just raw health, really.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's going to let you live through that. Because unless you're just, you know, insane reflex, BKB a fog blink echo, you're just dead.
Yeah.
He's going to opt for the BKB, though, so... Wants that little extra layer of protection if the fight actually kicks off in a way where he's not the one getting every single ult.
What's the hope there? Mandy's been able to tank a lot of them so far, so see if he gets his wish or not.
I mean, it's also the way he's playing, right? Like, how often have you seen him on his side of the map? It's not
Yeah.
really been at all. You know, he's doing it so HFN can hit creeps. Like, if he's not occupying that space, no one's going to be there, and then Liquid are going to find more kills. Speaking of...
Ooh, but the fear trying to keep okay, they just
No
cast
way.
everything again. What
Yeah,
the
no
hell?
way.
Dude, Liquid is the kill secured team. Holy shit. They just keep on dropping everything on these cores. And why not, right? Like, make sure it happens. They're not really being that heavily punished afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not losing objectives in the process, you're not getting heavily split push, there's no reason not to. Blade Mail reveal here, big damage. Alright, see you later. Why does it have to be this way? It's like, they drop every R button on a core and kill it, and then they immediately lose a core afterwards. And it's not even like the same fight, it's like the map resets, sort of, and then one core stays too long and then ends up dying.
Yeah, it's really interesting. This game has had.
It's the only reason the game's close.
I know. I don't know why
because Mickey's died twice in the same way, and then Koikfa's died twice in the same way, and it's just at some point you gotta you stop putting your hand on the stove. Just stop.
There's something to be said for that, but at the same time, you gotta hit that creep, man. You gotta get in there.
He even has an obs mid, and he's still dying.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh man. And now another round of ultis will be up very shortly. Koikfa. Nope, they're not gonna get him this time. I mean, that is, I guess, one of the things is like normally Vision would be able to save you there.
Well, the angle they engaged from, it was like, I think the axe came from the top of mid.
Okay.
So the ward would probably not have seen him in that particular situation, but maybe he got baited by his ward. Happens to a lot of people where you think you're safe because you have the vision, and then they just catch you in a way that you weren't expecting.
Right. Liquid reset again for a little while, but there is that Invis Earthshaker nearby, ready to jump at a moment's notice. Sentry ward is already down. So if he does step too far forward, they would have been able to scout that out. So we're going to have a little bit of a pause. Take a breath, everybody out there. See if we can figure out what we want to do. Andy, what the hell do you do at this stage, right? Like, are you looking to try and secure this Roche? Do you need to take a fight first?
I think the team that walks into the Roche pit first loses.
The game or the fight?
Well, it could be both.
Okay.
Definitely the fight. Like, I think it's a bait. These are the types of games where it's very close, and even if Liquid use 1 or 2 ults, they're probably still going to have Ice Blast, and they're probably still going to have Viper Strike. And those two things are usually enough to get those kills. So for paiN, they really want their BKB on the TA. They want to finish their BKB on the Slark.
Ooh, Fissure jump in, looking for... Hooks his own team, gets the pushback on the cogs, okay. And King RD walking brazenly into all of them, saying, come and fight me. As HFN follows it up, they still have Chrono. They also have Doom. He got his BKB off, but can they get out of here? The follow-up coming in. Mickey gonna jump forward, drop the Chronosphere onto him. Can they kill off this pesky Slark? So far, it's looking like the answer is gonna be yes. And now chasing for a bit more. The Echo Slam follow-up. And the question that permeates all of this is, why run back in?
Well, I mean, it's, that fight started in a really bad way. Like, Liquid were smoked. They were coming in from an angle that paiN didn't see. There was no vision there. Liquid had the sentry. So there's no way that they could have fought that after the way that it started. Like,
right.
They lost their axe, and it was no investment from Liquid. They didn't have to expend any ults. It was just a fissure, and then, actually, I think they Ice Blasted him. But besides that, yeah, thinking about a potential steal, but they are going to get the Shaker instead. So a worthy sacrifice. Making sure that they can't contest the Roche or like go for any cheeky plays. But yeah, the way that the fight started for Liquid was just too good. Because when you get a freebie and you don't have to expend anything for it, then you have all your ultimates left to throw at a Slark, for example, who got doomed and chronoed. And that's when you just take your hands off the keyboard and go, well, I guess I'm dead because I can't get away from this.
All right, well, let's see if they can go for a round 2 here. Ultimates are down right now for Team Liquid, and they're somewhat grouped together. Sanjin Yasha picked up for like a very interesting 25-minute mark. Who are they going to run into? Going up onto the high ground. They get a little bit of vision, saw the Doom, but instead they're going to turn out onto the AA. Mickey is nearby, but with 60 seconds till Chrono, that's going to be about the end of it. So Insania gives up his life for the team, while paiN are going to try and push the tier 1 tower bottom.
Yeah, it should be free. Don't think that Liquid are going to contest. Let's check ult cooldowns, actually. Yeah, 40 on Chrono. So yeah, pretty unlikely that they would want to fight this. If they stick around too long, there is a chance that they will go for the turnaround, because they do still have the Aegis on the Void. But yeah, so far, Liquid are still looking okay. The game's not over yet. Because there's still an opportunity, if King RD gets a really nice call, and they're able to burst 1 or 2 of the heroes, you could very easily see them taking a fight. But man, it is just so hard to play this game when you are chronoed and doomed.
Yeah. Just Dota 2 in general. That's
Yeah,
play it.
I mean, you just what do you do? It's like, guys, I can't use any of my buttons even if I wasn't chronoed, but I'm also chronoed.
Gonna run
Alright,
around.
another smoke here.
Boxy breaks it. They find 444. Not the greatest of initiations, but paiN are not going to be able to take that fight once they lose the Lich anyways, so instead it's just going to be all of Liquid grouped together, take the tower, and keep the pressure on a little bit. At the same time, Mandy's getting some good split push in. Sees a couple people rotate in. Not going to be able to find the range for the Chrono, and we'll see if they
Liquid
can
need to leave
play
top.
out.
This Viper can't stay here. Okay, they're going to catch the river instead.
Ooh, nice catch there. And Boxy also in some trouble. They get the call follow-up. Now just going to eat through all of them. Boxy tries to TP away. Actually, no, they turn with the Doom and Quake here as well. They might end up losing this Slark. He's going to have to try and hide off in the Roche pit, but that fight went from bad to worse. Still trading and taking that Essence Shift continuously, but paiN jumps in, kills off the Slark, and well, King RD was thinking about TPing in. He realizes that's not going to work now. They have the Fissure connection. They've got him caught as well. And just like that, paiN Gaming continue to lose off.
Yeah, it's I don't know what this Slark is really supposed to do this game. He's going back for the Ags. But man, someone needs like a Lotus or a Lincoln's or something to protect him. Because there's not really anything that's making Boxy use Doom on anyone else. Like, he doesn't need to Doom a Lich. The Axe isn't really doing that much because he didn't have much of a lane, and like Blade Mail, it's like kind of scary, but a lot of the heroes on Liquid already have a tremendous amount of health. Like Quake's at 2,400, paiN's got over 2k in an Aegis. So there's nothing really forcing the Doom to cast his spells, and that's kind of what's painting a really bad picture here for paiN, is that they're always able to just dump stuff on the core like this.
Oh, and everything landed. They've already used Doom, but Mandy gonna try and TP away. Guess what? That does damage through that BKB. And TA is done. Over to their side, paiN is waiting for anybody to show up. Does need to be slightly careful here, I think. As HFN's in the area and they got him caught. Diffusal Blade. Now Dunal gets the pushback there with the Cogs, but they're not looking to chase this, as the rest of the heroes from Liquid are showing up, and instead they're gonna decide to jump onto the Clockwork. So paiN still chases, does not have the mana for the Chrono though, and now backs out to try and pressure the tower.
Yeah, Liquid don't have to really be scared of anything. I mean, barring like a 4 or 5 man call, which if that happens, then they deserve to lose that fight. Yeah, I don't know. There's actually one thing I want to hint towards is like the Clockwork's items, like going for the Blade Mail. I just don't know about that item this game.
Yeah.
Like, think about how the fights go. The Axe goes in, he pops his Blade Mail, and then your Slark or your TA gets doomed, and you have not a single save item on your team. There's no way to get the Slark or the TA out after Doom is committed. That hero is just sentenced to die. There's no re-engage. There's nothing. It's just, boom, fight over.
Right.
So you need at least one person on your team that has some semblance of farm priority to build that item, whether it be Glimmer, whether it be Force Staff. And the Lich is just really, really far away from finishing it. So at that point, I feel like it might have been better for the Clockwork to just get a Force. So that way, you're making the Void chrono that person. Because if they get Viper struck in Doom and they get forced away, there's a chance they live. But if there's no Force, they are definitely going to die every single time. Like, look at what happened to HFN the last 3 fights. Like, Doom into Viper Strike and he's dead.
Well, and I think that, you know, you mentioned the Slark that's sort of dependent upon his ability to jump in and out of those fights, and it really is just like their entire draft falls apart when that happens.
Yeah. Well, it's a double whammy too, right? Because if Slark gets into Fog, he'll actually regen.
Yeah.
Like, there's no break attached to normal Doom. You need the Aghanim's Infernal Blade for that. So if he can just get out of vision, he'll be okay. And a Force Staff or a Glimmer also help with that.
Look, like the Doom, the entire team's on the other side of the map, jump in, trying to find paiN. This could maybe work for them, but the A blast, can they get him? They get that finish. Now chasing for more. Insania, have they gone a bit too far now? The Chain Frost going to bounce a little bit off to the side. Looks up on the high ground. Taiga's there. He managed to find the stun. Enchant Totem. Can it be enough for the kill? He gets the Echo Slam finish. Taiga saves the day. Oh, they went in too far. Oh, no. And just like that, they stomped the dreams out of paiN Gaming.
Oh, that was
almost
close.
there.
A nice guess. Slightly off, though.
Oh, and you can understand the desire there for the Slark to like, get that next one, but it just, you go a bit too far, and Earthshaker still a strong-ass hero.
Yeah, he in games like this where there's 3 cores, actually technically 4 if you want to think about Clockwork as another hero that just kind of sits in relative close proximity to other heroes. It just makes things like Aftershock, Fissure, your Echo just feel that much more satisfying. In that case, the hero was just solo, but I mean, he's level 20 in a 31-minute game. And he's not even farm priority. He was in a tri-lane. So this guy's feeling pretty good about his current game. But yeah, I think the not buying a Force Staff on the clock is actually quite a big oversight. Because I'm thinking about it, I'm like, how are these heroes just always dying? Like, there's never any save. Yeah. There's never a disengage or anything like that. The heroes just die. And it's because they don't have a single Force. Like, he's building one now.
Right.
I don't have one in a couple hundred gold. But man, the difference it makes, like, if you look at the overall net worth, it's actually reflected that the Slark is still farming very well.
Right.
It's just that he never gets to play the game because he's always doomed.
Yeah. Well, and now you do
someone help him.
Help this guy out. Let him be a person. He has the Ags now, so he's gonna be jumping around that much harder. Maybe it's harder to click on him while he's in the air or something. You got the Glimmer Cape that you mentioned for the Lich, and Force Staff soon online. I mean, at this point, does it change stuff, or do you think that it almost feels too far gone?
I mean, it definitely still changes it. Like, now it's going to require another ability being cast to get that kill. And making Liquid expend resources on kills is pretty much your only play at this point. Because if they want someone to be dead, they're dying. Like, you're going to get chronoed and A blasted or doomed or echoed or whatever. If they really want a hero dead, you want to make him work as hard as possible to get that kill. So that way, once all their ultimates are down, you can hopefully turn it with either the TA or the Slark. Now, it might be too far gone, but it's better late than never in these types of games.
Totally. We did see the Force back on the bottom lane of Boxy, and he's been really pesky here on this bottom lane, always keeping the pressure onto that tier 3 tower and getting some damage onto it. But now Liquid, knowing what they need to do, hold on, make sure that they don't give up a Roshan, and maybe even find a pick before they go into it, or if they want to, they've got the better team fight. Just do whatever they want.
Yeah, they have a very scary 5-man. There's just so many things that paiN have to execute. They have to catch the right hero, killing the Void. It like didn't even really win them the fight, but it felt like that's a win condition for them, is taking him out of the fight for no chrono and things like that. But it's an 11k lead for Liquid, and it's going to take a lot for paiN to make their way truly back into the game. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Roshan before a team fight happens is how Liquid maybe lose control of the game. I've seen it so many times, Lyrical.
Yeah.
It's actually insane how many Roche throws I've seen Dota.
Wrong. I think also that the pace of this game has felt very frenetic, and it can change so quickly when that's happening. I remember, game 1 it was 15 minutes and we had 3 kills. Or maybe that was game number 2, but now it's 51 kills at 34 minutes. It feels like with this amount of action, things can change super rapidly. And it looks like they're going to try and force back somebody to deal with Mandy split pushing in the bottom lane and then try and take the fight on him there. But the unfortunate thing is that Roche is going down. They get the flare on it, see it right away. I don't know if they're going to be able to get there in time. They're moving over quickly. And jump forward, get the call, maybe a chance to find this kill onto Doom. At the start, able to interrupt, no jumping coming from Taiga. They do get the Doom, and that's going to be the chrono laid down on top of the Slark as well. And the duration of his BKB, so they will lose the Slark. Can they get anybody in return? Mandy walking in, wants to finish off Roche. This is bold as brass. He doesn't even have a BKB anymore. They have a sentry down. Oh, no, no, no. But the buybacks, maybe a chance here for them to force the issue. Okay. Jumping call onto 3. Is there a follow-up? HFN is there as well. They kill off the Viper. Can they get any more, though? It doesn't look like it as of yet. Need to Shadow Dance and then jump away. HFN able to escape as they buy back on the Axe, but there just wasn't enough follow-up.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice call, but unfortunately no damage. The TA buyback and the TP took too long. So this should be Liquid's Roche.
Maybe a chance.
HFN. Get out of here.
Yeah, oh god. Oh no. Oh Jesus. And the chase down for more. They've broken the Axe. They got the ulti onto him. Dead for 2 minutes is the TA. And Andy, you said you've seen a lot of Roche fights. That one looked a lot like Woes.
The classic. The fight Roche, I mean, Liquid's positioning was really good, to be fair. They had Boxy standing like at that little hill where the median camp is next to the tier 1, so when the smoke broke, they had to commit on like one of the tankiest heroes. So he's got Shivas, he's got BKB, the Dragon Scale. That's a beefy boy. You don't really want to open on him. And the hilarious part was HFN realized, oh god, this is so bad, that he tried to run away, still got doomed, and then Mickey from like downtown just jumps him and chronos him anyway. And you hate to see it. Like, that guy, he can't play. Like, there's nothing he can do. And it's unfortunate, because the rest of the heroes don't do enough in order to be able to force it. But yeah, it looks like it's maybe going to be GG here. Double damage wearing off on HFN, and yeah, they're just dead.
They're gonna get one last kill. They're like, we're gonna take down Insania, or they're not, as GG does come out in the end. paiN put on a good performance in game number 1. They absolutely dominated, but Liquid have looked super solid and composed for these next couple of games that we saw. Man, what a series. Not fully what I would have expected, but Liquid showing a lot of sort of tenacity there to be able to stick with it in the full series.
Yeah, I think the first game they just made some really big laning mistake, and it was enough to like push paiN into like a complete map control situation, and then there was nothing that really Liquid could do to get the map control back. I felt this game was kind of similar. Like, they tri-lane their safe lane with the Shaker, the AA, and the Void, and they stopped King RD from really getting the game that he wanted, where he can just like start fights and be that annoyance all over the map. Because if Liquid are able to press their ultimates the way they want to, as in they're not being forced to use their buttons, this game is like free.
Yeah.
It really just feels that way, because no matter what, you're going to have an ult for a core. Like, you're either going to have Chrono or Doom or Viper Strike or the Echo, right? And a lot of the time, they were perfectly okay with just overlapping their ults to kill Mandy or kill HFN. It wasn't even a question. They're like, yep, we're just going to kitchen sink you every time.
Yeah.
You know, do something about it. That's basically what this game was. It's like, we're going to cast all our ults, see if you can do something in the time it takes them to come back up. Yeah. And paiN just really couldn't find that foothold.
I mean, it was crazy. Like, 38 kills, 4 ultis at a time. And that was basically what they had to play against for paiN. And what a great series. I'm excited to keep on watching these teams. It does mean that we're going to have a bit of an interesting matchup in the lower bracket, as we do already have down there waiting Evil Geniuses, who are going to face off against paiN. But first is going to be the winner's side match, which means it's a Liquid versus Na'Vi match set up for the day number 2. And then, of course, afterwards, the winner of the loser side match is going to play in the decider match for whoever loses the winner match, which is a lot of words that I'm saying, but just look at Liquipedia. They know what's happening. Andy, any final words before we finish off for today?
I'm just looking forward to tomorrow, man. Should be a good time. I'm excited to watch and cast some Dota.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, 4:30 PST, some other time at other times. So have a great one.
Exactly.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.